But, you know, we've had a lot of time to discuss anticipations and expectations for this comp, because when you look at the 6 teams in the MSI group stage, 3 of them are slower tempo, and 2 of them are playing right now, with Team Liquid and Flash Wolves liking to contest those objectives, liking to get through the laning phase. Is one of the big points you had in terms of preparation, Spawn. And it's going to be interesting to see those first Drake fights and those first Herald fights, because I'm nervous for Team Liquid if it doesn't go their way. How do they contest and stop Hanabi and Rather when they get to the team fight stage?
But I think that's what gives me confidence in the Team Liquid lineup, because I think that they are a little bit better at preparing them. And, you know, early ward in bottom side mid, the fact that they've secured the Scuttle Crab, they're stopping bases, trying to make lanes base at separate times, and then Impact took a very favorable trade to get the disjointed teleport. So Impact's going to be back off cooldown and has the ultimate available.
Tick-tock, 45 seconds early. Maybe this will throw Team Liquid off. No, that's a joke. The Paranoia is available here for Boogie. There's no flash for Betty or Shall See. Getting closer to 8 minutes, but on cue, Flash Wolves have the game plan.
Double pink ward bottom side jungle. They don't have eyes on Smithy at the moment, as well as the fact Impact's ultimate available. Making a play cross map against Gangplank is a danger.
Yeah, I think Team Liquid's very aware of the potential gank. If we spotted it in the VODs, it's very highly that Team Liquid spotted it in the VODs. And here we see the ulti. It's going to happen anyway.
Well, there we go. Just before 8 minutes, but the damage is so high. Now Flash Wolves are on the retreat. Needs to find the stun. That's Betty locked down. He's got no flash, remember? First blood picked up by Core JJ.
And whilst they do it all the time, it doesn't always make it correct. TL scout the play, Impact drops the ult, and they get the kill.
Betty getting stuck in the wall. He looked like he was out, but a perfectly placed pillar from Smithy secures the kill onto Betty, and Team Liquid lead with first blood.
I mean, you just got to give all credit to Team Liquid. Not only was Smithy in place, they played it well. I initially thought the burst damage was very high and made me nervous, but Team Liquid, they knew exactly what they get. First blood and the dragon.
But this is why initial trade of Summoner Spells is so great for Team Liquid on the bottom map. They just had every advantage. And, you know, this is what a good draft gives you. If you've read the fact that they're going to go slow, you've counted out the first Nocturne ultimate, everything on track for this game to settle, you know, start to scale up, and not in the same fashion as G2, but 1-3-1 still can be enacted here to continue to secure farm.
So here we see Smithy. He's trying to clear out a ward. Flash Wolves think that they've caught him out of position, so they go for the all-in. But the immediate follow-up from the bot lane of Team Liquid means that they can go for the 3 versus 3 now. In all honesty, I don't think that should have resulted in a kill if it weren't for that perfectly placed pillar that just locks him in between the wall and the pillar. So really good stuff there from Smithy to allow Team Liquid to find this first blood.
And of course, it's Betty that goes down. The tip of the spear for Flash Wolves. The stats you're seeing on your screen are from the LMS and the LCS respectively. And we're looking at 2 of the heavy carries, the main carries for the respective teams. And you can see that Double Lift, on average, higher CSD in his local league, higher goal difference, higher kill participation. And this is, of course, also because Flash Wolves had a more difficult split than usual. But it's Double Lift and Team Liquid that have the advantage, and they've already kept Betty down.
Yeah, when you think about Flash Wolves, you're thinking about the team that comes through the LMS in first place. However, this is the second or third place LMS lineup. People had debates about whether AHQ was actually going to be able to take the split off a great end of season run. Flash Wolves actually came into both of their best of 5s as maybe underdogs for the first time. And you can see right now they are once again going to have to play on that back foot.
Now, I appreciate the observers highlighting where the goal differences lie. You can see that while the Flash Wolves bot lane is struggling, Hanabi is still doing well towards the top side of the map. He's built up a pretty healthy CS advantage as we see a gank in the mid lane.
All right, Emperor's Divide does not push Jensen forward. Paranoia has already been used. Rather is going to be saved by Boogie. Now, Impact is... No, sorry, correction. Jensen was backing away. So we need to see if the cannon barrage was going to come down. Did not at the end of the day. Boogie close enough to save Rather's life.
I actually really like this play from the side of Team Liquid. Rather not running the cleanse means it's actually very easy for Akali to set up the gank with the ultimate. And because he used his stealth with the W, Rather's ultimate actually made connection to no one. And because of the amount of mobility that Jensen has, he can very easily dive and duck and maneuver around these big CC utilities. So I like the setup. Unfortunately, they couldn't quite convert it into a counter.
However, they will be able to potentially convert this into a Rift Herald. So both early game objectives uncontested off the back end of good Smithy counter gank.
Yeah, every single objective. First Blood, first Dragon, first Rift Herald. You can already see some of the backs starting to come in as we're 11 minutes in. Team Liquid have got just over 800 gold in the advantage. And with the help of the Rift Herald, they should be able to put some additional pressure in one of these lanes. Outside of Impact being bullied a little in the top lane, I still think he's going to have some additional bonus gold from that GP barrels.
And lanes are matchup dependent as well, so I think that Impact at this stage, to be down 20 CS whilst having kill contribution in the bottom lane gank and playing very safe on the top side of the map, has never really been in danger. For JJ, however...
Ooh, a little bit of damage. Smithy's got the blast cone behind him, takes the blast cone. Pillar of Ice is available, and if you look at the minimap, Boogie's making his way through the jungle. It's just going to be flirting with danger and no further follow-up.
But all I was saying is I think Impact's in a fine position right now. Sure. He's going to be able to side lane successfully. You said that's the role. His ultimate is well and truly online, and you can see that Flash Wolves haven't really found an avenue yet into the game, even expending 2 of the Nocturnal.
And I feel like both these teams are very playbook focused. When they have a lead, they're actually very confident with
jungle. It's just going to be flirting with danger and no further follow-up.
But all I was saying is I think Impact's in a fine position right now.
Because similarly to SKT, they won't necessarily take risks. They won't take those 50-50 plays and assume that they can just outplay their opponents. And this means that, like, I'm looking at Flash Wolves now, wondering what ways can they look to try and come back in. And that ultimately comes down to this big wombo combo team fight that they have.
Yeah.
Nocturne, Galio, Vladimir, or Zia are 2 items. This powerhouse can swing a dragon or a baron fight very quickly in that.
Well, the gold is completely even, 12.5. First big items, Luden's Echo for Rather, Gunblade for Jensen, Blade of the Rune King for Double Lift, but it's Team Liquid that are sort of in the driving seat. You know, they've got the objectives, they seem to have the answer for now, and this is a Team Liquid that, you know, had to reverse sweep their finals to qualify. They've got 3 consecutive LCS titles in a row. This is their second MSI appearance, and all eyes are going to be on Jensen and Core JJ, the 2 big roster swaps coming into the season.
And in my opinion, one of the big ways in which they made this reverse sweep happen was by enabling and playing through their bot lane, and they are doing exactly that. Huge props to Xmithy, finding ways to punish Boogie in the early game. They're committing by bringing this Rift Herald down towards the bot side to give Impact the freedom to now move out of that 1v1 and then move Double Lift elsewhere on the map. And it just feels like they are enabling their star carry the way in which they should be.
But we'll see whether this is going to be a counterpunch from the Flash Wolves. No pulling out of the play. So now they've got themselves a 30 CS lead. Play onto Rather again.
All right, there's the paranoia. Boogie's going to be trying to help out Rather. That's a dash forward there from Jensen. Boogie's going low to Double Lift. That gets on the board. Second kill of the game and the first for Dia.
And Liquid just playing this game on the front foot, being able to rotate up through that forest meant that there was no prior vision established for this Flash Wolves lineup. They know exactly where Flash Wolves want to go, and they're cutting them off every time.
And look at the timing. Mountain Drake available immediately after Boogie goes down. That's 2 paranoias in a row used defensively on a champion like Nocturne, where you really want to be going forward.
And Trevor, I have a feeling that the Flash Wolves thought this laning phase was going to go for a little bit longer, because they bought a Cull. They've got themselves a Comet on his ear, and they've gone Luden's Echo. This is much more of a short, sharp trade kind of build. However, Flash Wolves TL has actually pushed the tempo quite nicely, and now this laning phase, it's done.
Yeah, and now we get to see what TL can do once they've got this kind of an advantage. So I think this is a big mistake from Rather and Boogie. It looked like they were trying to answer towards the bot side, but the reality was their bot lane was pushed underneath their tower. Team Liquid was naturally going to have a numbers advantage. So trying to get vision control over your bot side of the jungle was just asking Team Liquid to engage upon you, and you're just asking Double Lift to kill you and take away that free gold.
And Double Lift will say, yes, please, may I have some more? It's a 2,000 gold lead, 6 plates to 2. Infernal and Mountain already underneath the Team Liquid's belt, with the next Drake being Infernal as well. And this is just Team Liquid in complete control. I'll remind you that the analyst desk all predicted Team Liquid to win this game many hours ago, anticipating that Team Liquid's ability to play the map, to play the team fights, to respond to Flash Wolves' playbook is being seen as expected.
And I think it's one of those things where we talk a lot about G2 and IG style versus SKT and Team Liquid style, and Flash Wolves fall under the same style of Team Liquid and SKT. And one of the big expectations was that Flash Wolves would not be able to play that style to the level with which Team Liquid could. And with the players that they drafted into this team at the beginning of the year, they wanted to perform internationally. They wanted to show that they can look to challenge one of those international titles. And I feel like we're starting to see the growth of this team. While they are still playing through Double Lift, while they are still focusing their attention towards the bot side of the map, what they are also doing is looking to play a quicker game. And it is important that they can do that, considering G2 and IG are at this tournament.
Yeah, and this part of the game sucks for Flash Wolves now. You've got a top lane, long lane Azir, trying to catch the wave as deep as possible, but not wanting a wave to build up. Turret dive always going to be on the table for this Akali. And you can see time and time again, Flash Wolves are trying to duck their head into the bottom side jungle as well. Take away some of that vision that is starting to accrue around the Dragon area. I just want to point out how well Team Liquid have set up bottom vision control as well, and just how safe Impact is on this split push.
Yeah, and this is going to allow Impact to claw back that deficit. Still down 25 CS, but it has been 25 CS for 10 plus minutes. He's got the Trinity Force completed into the Proto Belt, as well as that Hex Drinker. Going to be doubly effective, obviously, against the Vlad and the Azir. And you can see Double Lift and Core JJ applying pressure in the mid lane before moving top. Now that is exposed, and that means that top tower is going to take a hammering.
Yeah, so let's kind of look at next steps for Team Liquid, because what they want to do is maintain mid control and inevitably take that mid tower down. But in order for them to do that, they need to gain vision control in the enemy jungle so that Flash Wolves are forced to play defensively, and the risk of a flank on that mid tier 1 is a real possibility, which is hard to do unless you take that tier 1 down. So what you'll often see is them push in mid, move up through the river, and then join up with the Akali when there's a wave there to siege onto that tower and move back and forth between the two.
However, due to the nature of these teams, I only expect it to go for a couple minutes more. It is about a minute and a half away from the next Infernal Dragon spawning. I think it is still crucial for them to protect some of that bottom side vision.
Yeah, and let's see whether or not Flash Wolves are going to be able to contest 1-2 items on the way for those teamfight carries in the solo lanes, so it's definitely going to be helpful. And of course, for Flash Wolves, Spawn, this is also a team that had to rebuild. You know, Flash Wolves were not the de facto favorites coming into the MSI, qualifiers. They had to take down Mad in their finals. They had to qualify through AHQ the previous round. And this, while it is the 4th MSI the Flash Wolves have attended, it is a very different looking Flash Wolves to seasons past.
Yeah, the Exodus started with Kai'Sa in 2017, then moved into, people like Maple and Sword Art, also going over to the LPL, new coaching staff coming in, same carry players in Hanabi and Betty. They were already starting to come on board with this team, but Radha and Shalsi, in my opinion, are good replacements for the members lost. They have shown domestically and at MSI playing so far that they play this stage of the game quite nicely, and I think it kind of suits the style that Flash Wolves' already existing carries wanted to play. And
I need to see more from Flash Wolves in the hype video at the beginning of the day. They said, Taipei, we're coming for you. Flash Wolves have never missed the semi-finals of MSI, and right now they're being pushed down. There's still 2,000 gold behind Team Liquid. 2 dragons down, a tower down, and that Infernal Drake is coming up shortly. Look at the vision, look at the posturing around mid lane. We're getting set up for another fight.
And their combined costs away from that 2-item spike that you wanted, Vedius, to be able to contest, but you can see still confident enough to walk out and check vision.
This is a dangerous spot for Flash Wolves, but they don't want to give up this Infernal Drake. They have no vision, and look at how TL have set up the minimap right now. Notice how the Akali is pushing out the bottom lane, but staying towards that side of the map so that he can join should the event that a fight kick off, and the teleport and ultimate available for impact. They're now looking for Shalsi, not able to find it.
Yeah, gets cut off by that Pillar of Ice. Betty's trying to wave clear mid. That tower is so close to going down, but with the objective being up, that is the focus, and that is what both Flash Wolves and TL are focusing on.
And just there is why we talk about mid lane priority. The fact that Betty had to show on mid lane, Double Lift was able to duck into Fog of War, meant they get to start up the Dragon for free, see whether the fight comes.
Jensen's making his way up from the Tri-Bush. That's the Paranoia already thrown down. Dragon is now being interrupted, and the teleport comes up from Impact. Impact finds himself in the middle of the melee. He's in trouble. The second Infernal is picked up by X-Smithy. Now Core JJ is backing away. Emperor's Divide throws Team Liquid aside. Jensen is on to Betty. Putting the damage down as Shalsi is already out. Jensen finds a second of the fight, and now Boogie's running for his life on the wrong side of the rift. Hanabi gets tagged by a Winter's Bite and will pick up X-Smithy with at least a transfusion. The stun comes down, and Jensen picks up another.
They get the Dragon, they get the kills, and TL now in firm control of this game.
Flash Wolves, the way in which they approached this fight was disastrous, throwing absolutely everything at Impact. The weakest member, the guy that is branded as absorbing pressure, and he absorbed 5 members beautifully. A stopwatch at the perfect time to allow the rest of TL to reposition and collapse on the Flash Wolves.
Yeah, it feels like the ready check just wasn't done. Who has stopwatch? Who's got the defensive item? Because he teleports in an awkward position. He immediately drops ult. stopwatches away, still has himself the defensive item of the Hex Trinket as well. You can see that Flash Wolves split across terrain, can never get 5 members together, and TL just start walking over
And I think that's the biggest thing, Spawn. The fact that Flash Wolves initially looked like a cohesive unit, all grouped up, they then immediately split apart. Akali, Lucian, this is their playground. Oh, 2v2, 3v3, small choke points. Let us dance. Let us have that duel. Every time we're going to come out on top.
3,000 gold in the lead. The mid tower fell. The Infernal fell. And Team Liquid, despite having that composition that you go, ooh, don't make mistakes early, they haven't. They've played flawlessly. They've read Flash Wolves like a book, and Team Liquid have all the answers.
And this isn't the first time MSI that this has happened. I feel like game 1 of Vega Squadron versus Flash Wolves, Vega also did a very nice job of reading what the Flash Wolves were wanting to do. Flash Wolves seem to be that team that takes a little bit more to get going. And this is why I think a lot of analysts also had high expectations of TL coming in, because this isn't a quick-paced game. And they've led every decision-making point and just shut Flash Wolves out of what they want to accomplish. This is a team, when they play the game on their terms, do not make those mistakes.
22 minutes in, 2 items completed already on the side of Team Liquid. You've got the Executioner's Calling as well as Hex Trinket. Still looking to be upgraded for impact, but Morella Nomicon, Black Cleaver, Blade of the Rune King, Double Lift and crew are going to be very content to push towards this top lane. Look at the minimap. 4 members stacked going up, and Jensen has TP if needed.
Yeah, the Unsealed Cell book gives them a lot of flexibility, meaning that Jensen can be moved from the far side lane to the close side lane. And with Impact's TP being on cooldown, he's going to apply this pressure towards the Azir down the bot side of the map, who's now going for a Luden's Echo into like Banshee's Veil, Berserker's Greaves, bit of a haphazard all over the place build. Will give him the attack speed that he wants, but it's giving so much freedom for Team Liquid to set up full vision control around the Baron, because Azir is miles away from the fight.
And we just have another game where they've forfeited all form of control. They haven't been able to pressure Team Liquid away from objectives. The one time they tried, they get wiped in the team fight after the objective falls down, just not getting there early enough. And once again, you've got to applaud Team Liquid's cohesiveness. That's 5 members recalling after getting control of an area, back on with pink wards littered throughout every inventory. They know exactly how they want to close out this game.
And take a look at this. Very confident call here from Team Liquid as the teleport is going to come into the Baron pit. CoreJJ steps forward. Reminder of how different CoreJJ has had an impact on Team Liquid. He has the fight set up. Not going to go just yet. Shoutsy's instantly blown up. CoreJJ manages to find the kill.
And this is perfect, excuse me, from Team Liquid, because the worst case scenario for Team Liquid is they're grouped up in a small Baron pit, allowing this full wombo combo to rip them apart. So instead, they bait the Baron and turn and fight. They never give that opportunity. They now have a numbers advantage, and they're looking for more picks.
It's starting to get ugly here.
Yeah, and it has been for a little while, I think, Spawn. Oogie, once again, defensive paranoia. He's only used it on the retreat. He's only used it to fall back. And what I was trying to set up just before is that, you know, there's a lot of eyes on this Team Liquid roster. They won both LCS titles last year. And after MSI, when, you know, Ole ended up benching himself quite dramatically, there were changes coming into the 2019 season. And while TL found regional success, they now need to step up on an international stage with Jensen, with CoreJJ, and with a lot of fans at home being extremely critical of everything that they do.
Yeah, certainly. And I think that Jensen is someone that has proven himself on the international stage. Hold that for the fight.
He's got another opportunity. The taunt will come out from McSmithy. Look at that pillar of ice. Jensen goes all the way back in. Rather, he's chunked so low. Chelsea goes down as Jensen finds yet another kill. Hanabi forced a Proto Belt to safety. And of course, the Chelsea once again going down. TL are using Baron as a perfect bait.
Well, honestly, this is just great use of vision control because they have so much vision in the river. It means that Flash Wolves have no idea what's going on. They've abandoned the bot lane completely because they've ran out of teleport. So they've just been awkwardly dancing around this objective, looking for something to get them the way back into the game, and Team Liquid don't give it to them. The moment they overstep, they punish the mistake. And again, this is what Team Liquid is so good at. You make a decision, they read it, they punish it, and then they snowball from there.
And an equally scary gold graph as we saw in game 1. It's felt a little bit more slower, but the inevitability has still been there for the North American lineup. As Vetti pointed out, this is just the ability to hold and control deep vision. They're right in the jungle right now of Flash Wolves. Nowhere near the Baron, but they're all ready to turn. They're not allowing the Wombo Combo Comp to take effect.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff from the side of Team Liquid. And you can just see on the minimap how all the side lanes are just kind of crashing into each other, because for Team Liquid, they're fine. They have the gold lead. They get to threaten the Baron, whereas Flash Wolves, they're just losing more and more and more resources.
And just perfect execution there from Jensen. He's 3-0-2 on the Akali. Got himself that bouncy. Double of 2-0-4 on the Lucian. And the man I've spoken a lot about, Core JJ on his Braum, 2-0-3. It's just TL are playing, they're reading Flash Wolves and they're responding and they're setting up the proactive plays very, very well. With Baron now as well, and of course the fact that Jensen's pushing the top lane, Impact's down bottom with teleporting Cannon Barrage. This is now just a 1-3-1. It's going to be TL's game to win.
And it's not flashy, but this is a team putting another team to the grind. And when you saw the veterans added to the TL lineup, I think this is what everyone hoped that you would see on the international stage. This is what success looks like when a TL branded team comes out, controls the pace, and just shuts you out.
And of course, the question we're going to find out as the day plays out
here
is whether or not it's going to be quick enough. There goes Boogie, he goes in. Hanabi completes the TP, and this will be just in time for the Guardian Angel to come back up. That's Hanabi already down. Shalcy's running for his life. Jensen dashes all the way in, waits for the taunt to come out. He turns his attention over to Rather. Rather escapes with his life for now, burning down from the Ignite. Double Lift takes the tower. I think the Ignite takes down Rather. That is 4 members of Flash Wolves down.
Perfect team fight from the side of Team Liquid. Flash Wolves went for the desperation play. They knew they were going to lose this game, but it was not enough. 5 members still alive. Team Liquid looked to get their first win of MSI.
And you could see they got the pieces together, but they could not make it work. TL will push the Nexus.
Yeah, Betty's going to get jumped on for the time being. Jensen fancies himself a dive. Not right now as the Nexus is being focused. The North American LCS Team Liquid will take down Flash Wolves to open up MSI groups. What felt like a slow start ended in the complete opposite. From Baron to finish in 2.5 minutes, it was decisive, it was clean, and it was all Team Liquid.
And keeping the average game time below that 30 minutes. Whilst we keep saying slow, methodical, as you mentioned, as soon as they get the advantage, they are confident enough to push for the end. Flash Wolves didn't throw the same punches as Fongbu, but it looked like they had equal opportunities to win this game because it was a shutout.
I mean, what for me really stood out is that when Fongbu played against Team Liquid, there were moments where you were like, oh, if Fongbu executed a little bit better, maybe they could have actually pulled out a win or two against Team Liquid, maybe. But here, it felt like the Team Liquid were constantly forcing their opposition into making bad decisions and then punishing them. And this is the growth that I like to see from Team Liquid, because while it's not perhaps the same proactivity like a G2 would bring to the table, it is still a play that forces their opposition into getting the style that TL wants.
If you can execute the defensive play flawlessly, maybe you can contain proactive. Those are questions we'll find out later. To get more insight on how Team Liquid won today, let's hear from the Safe Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much. Quick shot. That's exactly right. A win, W in the win column for Team Liquid. It's going to feel good here against the Flash Wolves. However, it was an expected victory. The first thing I want to call back to is the stylistic mismatch that we had kind of, previewed here. And it looked like it played out pretty much to the T.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing for Flash Wolves is they're not like a better late game team than Team Liquid, so we were looking more at early game, but that's no longer where they have their strengths with this new lineup. So it ended up being a fairly slow early game, as we expected as well, which is only in favor of Team Liquid. And we were just kind of waiting for one opening, and it actually happened in just a 2v2 trade where Betty has to flash out, Xiaozi has to flash out as well, and this now means that they can't actually do anything on this bottom side where they have a Galio pick that they want to try and use to set up a gank with the Nocturne. When he ends up showing up, it's the Trundle they jump. Yeah. That's not okay.
Follow-up play comes through. Excellent Trundle
No flash.
Yeah. What are you going to do in this situation? So all this composition that Flash Wolves had entirely based around Nocturne being able to set up into the bottom side of the map, erased. It's gone. Just based off that 2v2 there. So Double Lift coming up strong in that matchup.
I mean, when we're thinking about concepts for how Team Liquid could kind of subvert what we kind of saw being the inevitable late game scenario, the couple that we posed were aggressive jungle champion from Boogie to allow him to like really snowball the game. It's a Nocturne, so we know that's not going to be happening here. The other one was trying to leverage Hanabi, right?
Yep.
Who can be that big carry player. And the Vlad versus GP matchup, just so the fans at home know, like this was Vlad picked blind as the top laner, and it's one of GP's worst matchups. So it's a self-counter pick from Impact. But this is an Impact champion, the GP. It allows him to play a carry that can fit this meta, but can ult bot lane and help with the standard style that TL like to play. So they're still happy enough to go for this matchup that's a losing matchup. The moment that all these plays that we saw in our reel there happen bot side, you couldn't actually win harder. The VAD was up 15 CS, but you now Nocturne ult's on cooldown. The first one hasn't been used well. 3 minutes later till that ult comes in. They were never actually able to get anything out of Vlad running over GP, which can definitely happen in the 1v1, and they lost using the ult bot side. So that was where it was too much, and then from there, just kind of plain sailing for TL.
And that's what I kind of liked about this game is I feel like there's a lot of things we can take away. There's a lot of things we expected coming into the group stages here. We expected GP to have insane priority for Impact. Not sure if it was going to be into bad matchups or only picked into like good matchups for him. In this case, it was just picked last into the Vladimir. So again, we see the high priorities there. We got again to confirm how flash rolls in the early game are not as explosive as they've been in the past. And we got to see Team Liquid say, we don't need to play like we did against PvB.
No.
We don't have to run into and take every single fight because Flash Wolves were not forcing fights against them. And we got to see the LCS-style Team Liquid in this first game here.
Right, as a matter of fact, perhaps the game-deciding fight came not too long after that bot lane skirmish here around the Infernal Drake. Again, the Flash Wolves coming in on a teleporting GP, but it's going to be a near wipe.
Yeah, they also try to Nocturne ult onto the GP and everything, and then Galio dies before he gets the ult off, and Hanabi hasn't really gotten a flank off, and
Benson just gets free hits on Betty. Like, the entire structure of that fight was chaotic, sure, for both teams, but specifically for Flash Wolves coming in a deficit, they need to be able to protect Betty coming in front to back, and he just sees the mid laner like, oh, I guess we're done here.
Yeah, and when you play against Braum, Trundle, GP, you're not against any hard engage right there, but you're against a lot of really good abilities that can zone you if you're trying to run at them. And when they're engaged onto GP, it's Flash Wolves trying to run at Team Liquid, and then this composition is just so good as you said, protecting backline as well. And like you slow down basically 24/7 because you're either in a GP ulti, in a Trundle pillar, or in a Braum ult. Like you're never actually able to run at normal speed, so it's really difficult to kill anyone on Team Liquid side.
Now, this was the first showing of the two teams that have been talked about as maybe competing for that 4 slot. TL gets the better of Flash Wolves this time around, but I kind of want to get a sense of, based on what you've seen here and what we saw from TL in the play-ins, on how they might be able to roll this forward against that top 3, because this same composition, perhaps, against a G2 doesn't look the same, I'm sure.
Here's my takeaway, is that if you just focus on the TL side of the draft they selected, they played it well. I think the opposition level is something that we expect is going to be lower than those 3 teams, so we can't really say X versus Y here, but if I'm just looking at TL, just like how I feel about them a few days ago, I think there's a lot to like here, but I mean, the rubber has to hit the road against those big teams, and we're going to see that before too long.
Very happy with the bottom lane. We wanted Doublelift and Core JJ to look good, and they did.
Fair enough. We won't see the true test for TL until tomorrow, but we'll see what the victorious bot laner thinks about that game as he's standing by with Shocks.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Doublelift after Team Liquid opens up their MSI with a very impressive victory over the Flash Wolves. Now, Doublelift, you guys were favored in this matchup beforehand, yet it was incredibly clean, incredibly convincing. What does it mean to you to open up MSI with a win in that fashion?
Definitely feels really good. Like, they picked all scaling team comp, so if kind of like the memes that were really slow and like we're not aggressive enough, we're not proactive enough early game, like if we lost to that kind of team comp, it would be really depressing. So I'm glad we were able to, get small leads everywhere and then turn those into big leads.
Yeah, I think that's an important point. Also, your coach Kane said, well, we'll have to kind of work on the fact that we are a bit slower than some of the other teams here and we want to be more aggressive. In the past, though, a lot of time when teams have wanted to change just before an international tournament, it hasn't always been great, or it's a hard thing to do. So what's your approach to that?
Well, I think the main thing is just like you should never expect like a big transformation with a team or even a player. Like no one is just like could do a complete 180. It's gonna take like years and years of playing to make those big changes. But I think what people see and like between, for example, like G2, they just like explosive, super insane outplay playstyle where they just take a lot of fights and they win through lane. Like that kind of dominance, it's really not that far off from every team. Like every team just makes like really small changes and it makes like a really big difference in the long run. So we focus on like getting the small things down perfectly versus trying to make drastic changes. And so I think we play our playstyle really cleanly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just works out.
I mean, I have to concur. It has been looking very impressive. And of course, this is such a hyped roster coming into this MSI. You've also said, well, this is the time to win internationally. This is the year. What are the points about TL that, in your mind, are so good that are going to bring you a lot of wins at MSI and hopefully a final?
Well, I mean, this MSI, we have Jensen and Core, and they're basically just Smurfs. They're just so good. Like, they do everything right. And I like our team in general, like, I feel like overall we do almost everything right. And like, in our view of the game, like, if we can't, like, play at the same pace as, like, some of the other teams and do the plays that they do, but, like, the plays that we want to do and, the stuff that we want to work on, I think we're basically, like, almost exactly where we want to be. And, yeah, I mean, the pieces are just there for us. Like, I'm really confident. I think we're the best team at the tournament, and we just have to go out there and win.
Fantastic. I love to hear it. Final question. You have Fangfu Buffalo later as well, but a lot of people are looking towards tomorrow. Matchup versus G2 and versus IG. What are your expectations for those, probably some of the hardest games you'll play in the group stage?
We're going to stomp them.
Okay, fantastic. I love the confidence. I love the fact that you played so convincingly here in Game 1. Congratulations, Double Lift. TL taking home their first win at MSI. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, it will be the home team, Fangfu Buffalo, up versus the world champions, IG. Don't go anywhere.
Now Flash Wolves are on the retreat. Needs to find the stun. That's Betty locked down. He's got no flash, remember? Boogie's going to be trying to help out rather. That's a dash forward there from Jensen. Boogie's going low to Double Lift. That gets on the board. The second Infernal is picked up by X-Smithy. Now CoreJJ is backing away. Emperor's Divide throws Team Liquid aside. Jensen is on to Betty. Putting the damage down, and Shalcy is already out. This will be just in time for the Guardian Angel to come back up. That's Hanabi already down. Shalcy's running for his life. Jensen dashes all the way in. Waits for the taunt to come out. He turns his attention over to Radha.
To change the world of gaming, you have to go beyond what's next. Break boundaries, make history, and force the universe to take notice. The world's most powerful and most upgradable gaming laptop with Intel Core processors. The Area 51M defines the future of gaming.
Welcome back to the MSI group stage, where the reigning world champions Invictus Gaming start their tournament run against the hometown favorites in Fongvu Buffalo. Quick Shot, Spawn, and Vedius here, bringing you the action as two of the quickest teams in the world. Two very aggressive teams, two very aggressive leagues. So I'm expecting a lot of action with obviously IG being the clear favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you check out the lineup, the team that just won the World Championship, you know exactly why the Invictus Gaming lineup is the favorite. The LPL has always been known for its action-packed, quick gameplay, but this team just seems to take it to another level.
And it's really spearheaded by the duo of the Shy and Rookie, the two powerhouses, the guys that are considered unrivaled, best in their positions, perhaps even the best players in the world. Their playstyle, their constant need for outplays and aggression just in the laning phase and at every stage of play is a large part of where their aggression comes from.
And in the past, the LPL have had some coin flip players, especially when they come to the international stage.
Yep.
Historically, it was going to be Ning for this lineup. He has, however, cleaned up so much of his gameplay and does seem to be a force to be reckoned with now consistently.
It's actually something we talked a lot about, Ning and Baolan, in comparison to groups last year versus what we're seeing in their regional play, how they're going to show up. You just saw that graphic on screen as well as we turn our attention over to the Fongvu Buffalo. They will be substituting Meliodas out, and Suhao will be stepping in. This is a guy who has played 4 games this spring over in the VCS. He played in the summer last year significantly more. Some early game changlers. He only has Elise in his pool in addition to what Meliodas plays. But it's going to be interesting to see what it will do for the Fongvu roster, because no matter what, they're facing an uphill battle.
So I think the goal by bringing him in is to give him more stage experience. Having spoken to the team, their expectations are that both junglers are quite similar, but have slightly different champion pools. I feel like that when I look at things like the Rek'Sai, this is something that Suhao typically has a little bit more success on compared to the likes of Meliodas, who likes things like the Jarvan and the Lee Sin. And while they both have similar pools, I think their expertise on certain champions shifts slightly, so we may see different priorities in the draft.
So the question, where do PvP attack? Like, what do they do? You know, you're looking at the defending world champion. Of course, PvP had to qualify through play-ins. They lost to Team Liquid and then took down Vega.
I'm a big fan of taking your shot. I think that PvP are a team that play very fast, bloody League of Legends. And whilst they're going up to a team that is equally as fast and equally as bloody, I think the biggest mistake you can make is taking a backseat. I think that they look to continue to attack where they have the entirety of MSI playing so far. That's through their bottom lane, get Big Koro and Pallet, something that they are comfortable on, and then just go at the IG.
Yeah, like, what do you have to lose? Oh no, we lost to the world champions. Like, just play what you're happy with. Like, you are one of the bloodiest teams in the world for a reason, and that's because you like to fight, you're confident in your mechanics, and while there were questionable plays in their play-ins performance, you'd like to think that since that time, they've been practicing, they've been warming up, and that they're looking to at least try and challenge this Invictus Gaming squad.
What's interesting is, even though PvP are still one of the highest, combined kills per minute, they got very low average game time, even in their league, they actually don't lead the league. The reason I want to turn the attention to the league of the VCS is Fongvu Buffalo are now back-to-back champions. They represented Vietnam at Worlds and now again here at MSI. They've taken down EVOS and Gigabyte Marines on their run here. And seeing the fight that they put up against Team Liquid and seeing the performance that Vietnam is already consistently putting on the international stage, is there anybody that can doubt that they are, at minimum, the 6th best region in the world?
No, I don't think so, because they went through the CIS as well as Turkey to get here, and they were able to close them out. Sure, the games that they lost did start to look a little shaky, but when they're on their game and they are playing very quick, decisive League of Legends, you can see that gap starting to emerge a little bit in that region.
And no European can forget what the Buffaloes did for us last year at Worlds, because they took down the Flash Wolves that gave G2 the tiebreaker game against the Flash Wolves that even allowed them to pass through groups in the first place. So, like, Europe owes this team a lot, and they have proven that they can upset. And I think that they're a team that, like, in many ways, any team that is fast, paced, and aggressive can catch you off guard.
Yeah.
And one of the promising things about the Fongvu Buffalo lineup in particular is consistency. These are the two teams that are returning to an international tournament with the exact same lineup. So many times we see emerging regions come out with maybe some imports in there or a couple of too many star players. They all split up after the split doesn't go all too well, and they go their separate ways. Well, the Buffalo are coming back with the exact same lineup, and it's continually the same players performing on the international stage. Now, they would love Zeros to show his domestic dominance internationally eventually, but consistently, it's Big Koro and Pallet internationally that are getting the job done, even in those 2 upsets that you just mentioned before.
Well, let's see what they can do against Jackie and Baolan. Just to give you an update, we are almost ready to introduce the players on stage, and then we will jump into Game 3 of the MSI main stage groups. And of course, Invictus Gaming also returning here with that full roster. When you think about it, G2, Flash Wolves, PvB, all in the same group last year. Flash Wolves and PvB, I'm looking forward to their matchups tomorrow. But later today, Team Liquid and Fongbu Buffalo will have a rematch of that play-ins knockout series. So we need to judge what PvB brings to the table now against IG, what growth has been made in what's only been a couple of days. And of course, IG, they're looking to start off their MSI with a win.
And it's what I find hilarious is we talked a lot about styles today. We've talked about how IG, G2, fast-paced, they like to get early leads, they like to snowball with the leads that they built up. Team Liquid, Flash Wolves, SKT, slower pace. They prefer the controlled style, the scaling aspect. Fongfu Buffalo do fall into the aggressive category. And if you think of a team to potentially warm up against for your later game of the day, this is perfect for Invictus Gaming because you're looking at that G2 team who's already picked up a win against SKT. They're already looking fantastic on day one. Like, you need to be prepared against this kind of early game playstyle, and you need to be warmed up because G2 are definitely not going to slow down.
It's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. I believe that Lecoy over in Vietnam is just about to introduce the players. Once we do that, we will be jumping into draft, and we need to see what Fongbu Buffalo are going to bring to the table, and of course what IG can step up. But there we go. We're in the north.
Tất cả quý vị và các bạn đã quay trở lại với Mid-Season Invitational 2019. Như vậy là chúng ta đã có 2 trận đấu vô cùng hấp dẫn và 4 cái tên đã lộ diện tại Mid-Season năm nay. Vẫn còn đó 2 cái tên sắp sửa xuất hiện. Và đây là lúc chúng ta cùng hô vang We are VCS để chào đón đại diện cho khu vực VCS Fongbu Buffalo. Còn đối thủ của Fongbu Buffalo, nhà đương kim vô địch của Liên minh huyền thoại thế giới, Invictus Gaming. Và không để các bạn chờ lâu, một lần nữa chúng ta sẽ đến với cuộc đọ sức giữa Fongbu Buffalo và Invictus Gaming.
Thank you very much. Their support is for the Fongbu Buffalo. It is a difficult task ahead. But I'm going to bring us back to the point that I made a few moments ago. If there's any doubt that they are the 6th best region, after proving consistently over the last 2 years, they are the strongest of the emerging regions. Now they get a shot at the defending world champion, and they'll work their way down EU, Korea, NA, and the LMS to see how high they can climb up those standings.
And whilst I don't think that this is a team that has got, you know, the odds on their side of making it out of this stage of MSI, I think that the danger is when you start underestimating the team that can potentially decide who is going to join the top 4, because that's what we saw last year at Worlds with this lineup. Additionally, I do just want to cast your mind back to what we were seeing, the murmurs around Worlds towards the end of 2018, that this was a region that comes into scrims very, very hot, that they play the game the same way consistently across the board. And we do think that the meta is on their side for this tournament.
Yeah, but the same can be said for IG.
Yep.
So let's talk about that meta. You can see the players in their seats. Vedius, what are you anticipating as far as the draft is concerned? We've seen 2 starkly different games. So where do we turn our attention now?
So when we were doing our prep yesterday or this morning, Spawn, we were talking a lot about, so what can Invictus Gaming play? Oh, right, everything. They can literally play everything. Every single member has more than 10 champions played during the regular season. The pool of this Invictus Gaming squad is so deep that it can often be very difficult to prepare for. One of the things you can be very confident about is Ryze and Jace for the Shy. 2 big picks that no one wants to give to him.
Yeah, and then you throw the Vladimir on top of it just for a little bit of extra spice. Does not play the Vladimir in the slow scaling style, much more explosive with the pick. And it's a shared champion pool that we saw throughout Worlds that makes this team incredibly dangerous. You give them red side, you give them counter pick on top of that, they become really difficult to deal with. I like the attack of the jungle champion pool here for Invictus Gaming. If there's any way to upset a rookie as he's about to come onto the main stage to play his first game of the MSI play-ins, just triple ban him. That'll do the trick.
Yeah, they're really looking to force Phong Vu into a particular direction with all these big engaged junglers being taken off the board. Rek'Sai could look to be a priority, but the Jace is still open. You would imagine that for Zeros, that'll be the first thing that Phong Vu will want to grab for themselves.
And you see how high the priority on the Jace is, because one of the first pick champions that Phong Vu went back to towards play-ins was that Galio. So the fact that they've banned it away from Pallet, probably his best champion to free up Zeros champion pool, indicates who they think the carry is.
Now they want to lock in the strong jungler themselves. If the Rek'Sai priority isn't going to come from the side of Phong Vu, then Ning will grab it, and we do know that if he's going to invest time, it's going to be towards the top side of the map.
And now, Vedius, I know you're a commentator that loves to comment on this champions, as well as the people using them. Game number 1 of today, we saw a Jace versus a Sylas matchup that was very heavily Jace favored. We have the potential right now to see the flip side of that matchup on Summoner's Rift.
We potentially do, but it very much depends on how much jungle involvement happens towards the top side of the map. I mean, we'll see how things play out, but it could definitely be a great example of what the Shy can do, even when he's in a losing matchup.
Well, let's see how that plays out. Suhao, of course, the substitute jungler here for Phong Vu Buffalo. Hovered the Camille. I would like to believe that is a call out to IG's World Championship skins before he flicks over to the Elise, and Big Koro will lock in the Kai'Sa. For me, it was the most impressive AD carry that I have seen him play, and he's one he already has experience with over in the MSI play-in stage.
Yeah, and it does lend a little bit more towards that scaling. But the thing I love about Big Koro's Kai'Sa is his ability to join team fights in the river very quickly with it. This is a team that will utilize CC to allow him to fly up, get in the team fight before the opponent, and then be able to take over. He's had so many carry performances.
Now, this Varus pickup is the first of the MSI group stages, which is a little surprising considering how much priority there was on this champion during the play-in stages and expectations coming into the tournament. So what IG are suggesting is they already have a strong bot side. Anything you pair up with the Varus is typically very good in the 2 versus 2. And this again further reinforces to me that Ning is going to be looking to play towards the top side of the map, and Jackulov and Baolan will look to play the defensive safe side.
And the removal of volatility, once again, Nautilus has been seen in the mid lane. Not sure how much practice has been coming through. However, was a major part of the play-in stages. So removing that on the side of IG, I would like to see the Buffalo attack Baolan here, take away some support picks, try and get a volatile lane, and already we see the Tahm Kench.
So Tahm Kench has been removed from the pool. Braum still open and available if they wanted to go that route. Couple seconds left to figure it out, and then Invictus Gaming now start to decide how will they round out their team composition. What is Rookie going to look to run in that middle lane, and more importantly, how early will we see PvB get involved? Is Alistar taken away from Palace?
Yeah, apparently IG like the let's remove some support champion pool. Wonder if Baolan has something special in store for us today.
Well, it's a double-edged sword, right, Spawn? Because right now, if the Braum is not banned, then it gives an easy pickup for Invictus Gaming, and then there's nothing left for the enemy team to play against, right? Like, with everything taken away, you're now kind of forced onto something like a Morgana, which, sure, it does provide you with a bit of lane pressure, but not having that melee support can be rather painful.
And this is why I don't like doing things by half measures. You ban away the LeBlanc. Sure, it's one of the scariest champions in Rookie's hands, but now you give over the last remaining strong melee support.
I think this is really dangerous locking in the Zoe. Yes, it is one of Rookie's best picks, but then it's just asking him to play his Syndra. You're asking Rookie to play one of his best ever champions into the Zoe, which is a very favorable matchup for him. So I think this is a dangerous, but we said for PvB, you know what? Just go for it. And right now, they're looking to play early game. They're looking to play aggressive. They're looking to get
do it, do it, do it, do it. Pike, Pike, Pike. That will be the support I want to see. It's early game. It's in your face. And it's locked in. Pike, Kai'Sa.
And whilst it wasn't the exact same jungler, this is a very similar comp to what we have seen time and time again in the playing stage for this team. The ability for this Zoe to get out of laning phase early. Sure, it's into Rookie Syndra. and control the river.
Rookie Syndra
was instrumental in the Buffalo's first match. They're going to have to do it against one of the best teams, though.
Okay, so if we zoom out, let's focus a little bit more on PvB's keys to victory with this team composition. I see a lot of poke, but I also see a fair amount of dive in.
Yeah, so what we saw actually when they played something like Zoe was that they tried to control bottom lane river and then just throw projectiles through river and isolating top lane matchup. Now, do you want to do that against the Shy? I'm not so sure.Maybe there will be more priority put on the top lane. However, that was their key to success that they've shown previously in this tournament.
Yeah, it feels to me that Funku Buffalo have very much a 1-4 composition with the Zoe, a lot of poke available to them, very good at playing around objectives, and they have a lot of early game options and a lot of roaming. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pallet roaming a lot around with Suhao and them trying to make plays, especially towards the top side of the map, try and get Xerath ahead on this chase so they can be this big threatening split pusher.
Because if mid lane is isolated, if top lane is isolated, there is no way you cannot give the stacked deck right now to the Shy and Rookie, the two powerhouse solo laners. But that's not what the Buffalo do. They get out of lane, they try and close in on you, they try and force these 5v5. I want IG to fight fire with fire.
And while I don't really want to make this prediction, I've got to do it anyway. Mid lane's going to die. It is a Syndra and a Rek'Sai duo. There is only a teleport on this Zoe. If you get locked in, you're gonna die.
Well, just as we went into that, if you're mid lane null, you're going to die. That was the call as Ning and Rookie with Rek'Sai and Syndra will be able to bully it. But the man on your screen, Suhao, substituting in for Maliatis from the play-ins group stage. Can his Elise have any impact? My eyes will be on him to start off this game and listen to that crowd in Hanoi getting behind the Fungu Buffalo.
So top side of the map is where I'm looking, but if we already keep our eyes on the mini-map, notice where Braum is. He's taking a very cheeky path in through the lane, and it looks like the IG might be setting up something crazy at the level 1.
Xerath is in vision, and I think the Shy just showed there, but has CC in his kit level 1, so you're right, this is the potential for IG to start this game off with a bang. In saying that, I would have loved to see the Buffalo go for something. I would have loved to see a bottom lane stack around that tri-brush, potentially trying to get vision down early, because I feel they do have to try and rock this apple cart to get something to shake loose.
Yeah, I certainly agree. Now, what we're seeing in this early game is typically mid laners or players will want to try and ward that pixel bush at around this time of the game, 1 minute 10, 1 minute 15. But unfortunately for Invictus Gaming, Jaculov was forced to ward early bot side because Baolan went up top lane for a potential play, maybe a counter play, and also in the top pixel brush, Suhao was able to clear that out by picking his W first and getting that bonus attack speed. So there's actually not a huge amount of vision available in the river to spot out where exactly Suhao will be going for and contesting for this early scuttle, which could make Ning's early pathing a little bit difficult.
Well, we keep our eyes on it. You can hear the calls out as Xerath was unable to find that shock blast, and Rookie and the Shy already getting a lot of early damage down. The Shy at level 1 continuing to trade, but Xerath with that Mercurial hammer currently putting the autos down.
And you might think, what the heck is he doing? He's not CSing, but he's stopping the Shy from getting level 2. He's building up this wave. That would, in my opinion, indicate that they want to get Suhao up here early, potentially even look for a dive.
I mean, look, we can see red buff into wolves, into blue buff, potentially the scuttle as well, and then that will allow Suhao to look for that dive up towards the top side. It's very dangerous early on, but at least level 3, one of the best tower divers in the game.
Oh man, I'm keeping my eyes on it. There was a couple pings there on the Shy. As we take a look down bottom, Jaculov and Baolan, they've pushed the wave in very, very heavily. Big Koro is just being hammered on by that rain of arrows. And Bone Skewer will come out. Yes, that does tag Baolan, gets stunned up for an auto or two, but it's simply not an equal trade and definitely not on the right target.
And one of the most oppressive laners to play against is Varus. Superior range, combo damage there, inbuilt attack speed in the kit, just so loaded. And you can see that right now the short range of Kai'Sa is struggling with it.
So you can see now Suhao did get the level 3 by doing the Gromp into Scuttle, but Ning is topside as well. He's hanging around, he sees where the jungler is, and both junglers will know of the enemy presence. Suhao, he should have seen this Q from Ning.
And note the difference from game 1. Are they still going to go for this? Because there is no mid lane priority. They can't get the uneven numbers here, so the Shy should still be able to catch this wave.
All right, Ning is sitting around. This is a 2v2 in the top lane. Suhao gets some damage onto Ning, but the Shock Blast misses. Instantly, Fongbu Buffalo back away. Rookie and Null have not left the mid lane. And as it stands, Suhao has not left the top lane. Bone Skewer again will pull Balan out of the tower. Does not even take a tower shot for his troubles. And Rookie is getting good pressure in the mid lane. Now the Shy, he gets jumped on. That was a flash from Zeros, but they're currently getting 0. That's a defensive flash away from the Shy. Zeros goes down. First blood to Ning. Repel up, drop down. Suhao's running for his life. The Unbaru sends him flying. And as the Fangs get sunk in, the Shy helps get a double kill for Ning.
Fongbu Buffalo wanted to make the early play happen. Their whole game plan was play towards top side, but Ning loves to support his top laner. They go for the 2 versus 2. They get outplayed. IG lead with 2 kills.
And the important thing was how early Ning was there. He read the play. The Shy communicates when the wave is going to crash. This is a coordinated lineup. I think once the initial dive was gone, it becomes a force. And you can see Flash to try and set up the straight line skill shot, read like a book. The Shy outplays it, and then Ning just able to play cleanup.
They were flashing in a little square. It was Zeros who flashed forward, and then there was a flash to the right, and then a left, and then a down. And they all just kind of went around each other, but Ning was the one who was the most happy because he flashed last. And he managed to get that knock-up, which then mitigated so much damage, and they were able to turn that fight massive.
And you hate to be overcritical, but you would have loved to have seen the slight knockback from the JSQ actually in the bottom lane.
All right, that's a flash forward into the Bone Skewer. Really nice done by Pallet. That was beautiful.
And this is why fans want to see them play towards the bottom zone. They went top, it fails. You go bottom, Pallet sets it up and able to grab the kill.
But look at where Ning is right now. They're pinging on the top side of the map. There's no flash for Zeros. They want to try and enable the Shy, but Zeros has full information of what Ning is up to.
I think Zeros has got that ward, obviously, and that means he knows to play a little bit defensive. That replay, I hope we do get one. Pallet flashing forward, gets the Bone Skewer, and flings Jackie-Love over his shoulders. Suhao still lingering around as here comes Ning. Jumps forward, throws out the Praise Seeker. The ward hasn't timed out yet, but now the Shy, he chases all the way forward, puts a lot of damage back and forth, and Ning still not leaving. He's just firing out Praise Seekers as if this were an ARAM Rex side. Now Zeros continues to push forward, and Zeros currently even CS with Silas.
So this is one of the things for me that I feel often gets... we'll get into that in a second. First, let's have a look at this bot lane play. Pallet dives in. He forces the flash out from Jackie-Love with a good stun. Ooh. Then Balan does what he can to block the cocoon, but unfortunately the damage has already been done, and Jackie-Love with the teleport has no sustain, which means that he's going to get locked down. More than enough damage from Big Coral and Pallet, which means they end up getting a kill towards the bot side of the map.
And you can tell IG just want to scale through this lane. They know that there is kill threat because you can see Balan has gone towards the heal. They've got a teleport there for Jackie-Love. They were hoping for a war of attrition here, but that's not the case, because it swings in favor of the Fongbu Buffalo bottom lane.
Now, the point that I wanted to make a little bit earlier was that while the Shy often gets a lot of praise for being a very good player, one of the things that often gets overlooked is that Ning enables him so much. This guy spends so much time playing around the top side of the map, and we just had a perfect example of it where he was sat on a ward. Ning probably knew that Zeros knew, and he was like, I don't care. I'm going to watch you, and you're not allowed to approach that wave, because my top laner is farming, and only he is allowed to farm.
Yeah, too many times we see the 2v1 outplays, you know, at level 11, as the game has progressed, but you miss the story of how the lane got to that current state. And it doesn't even cost Ning all that much. He's on the superior farming jungler right now. You knew that the Elise was trying to get proactive as well at the same time. So, not even behind in CS.
All right, good chunk of damage down to Null. You can see the gold values on screen. Rookie and Jackie-Love up 15 CS apiece over the respective opposite numbers. Plus the additional gold from First Blood and the extra kill. Invictus Gaming are 1,000 gold up at 7.5 minutes. And Fongbu Buffalo are playing the way we anticipated. Up the tempo, try to be proactive, look for those kills, and it is, of course, Suhao and Pallet that's leading the charge.
And look, Summoner's Rift is on their side. They've given them an Infernal Drake, so if they get another pick bottom lane, potentially they can look to start a snowball. Once again, I think that this pace is even like maybe a little bit too slow. I want to see Suhao just continue to visit lanes. I want to see Sork Boots come out. This guy needs to have a proactive early game and just bounce between, you know, potentially these waves.
Oh, Ning stop again.
Yes, he is. Zeros is going to put the hammer down. Ning does not get caught by the cocoon, though. Here comes Suhao. Now the Shy is going to try to turn this around. He transforms into that cannon form. It's a double kill for Fongbu Buffalo.
And the substitute jungler in and already has 3-kill participation has been everywhere on Summoner's Rift.
And this time, the Shy does not get the 2v1 outplay. Xuhao is there to support his top laner, and PvB lead with the kill.
Listen to that crowd. With the 2 kills picked up, PvB close that gold gap that Invictus Gaming had accrued, and Xuhao will also steal away the red buff.
And one of the most crucial things about this 2v2 is which jungler goes first. Because as we saw when the top initial 2v2 happened, Elise tries to go in, but then Rek'Sai comes in second. So the jungler that approaches second is always going to be in the better position. So this time round, Ning, even though he knew that Elise was there, they thought that they could just straight up win the 2v2 again, burst the Jace beforehand, but they don't pull it off, and it is PvB that come out on top.
Yeah, and potentially critical itemization, because we saw the Hex Drinker rush here, miss knock up, very nice buffering there, and Zeros just avoids enough damage that Xuhao can come in. And the reason it is the way that you're describing, Betty, is both of these champions' way of getting into a fight is their way of getting out of a fight. So once you've burnt the cooldown, you don't have it available when you need it most.
Well, take a look at the player reactions. The Shy, not too disappointed.
We're in bot lane again.
Caught out. We jump down to the bot lane. Baolan is down. Xuhao once again, 2-1-2, 100% kill participation. And I asked the stats team to throw this up before I knew that kill was coming. These two teams combined kills per minute. On average, nearly 1 kill per minute. You can see IG just ahead. Kills plus assists at 15 on average. 2.7 versus 1.7. These teams kill a lot. Whoa, here comes Big Koro. He's gonna flash over the wall.
He thought about it, but my word, Fongfu Buffalo, this is exactly what we wanted to see from this team. You have nothing to lose, so just play your style. Throw everything at the wall, and right now, it is everything that is sticking onto IG.
All right, now Ning is in a little bit of trouble. He's going to dash forward. Take a look at the damage from Big Koro. Here comes Pallet. Death from below. That's another on the board for PvB.
And this was the Warrior of Raz. He said that IG play to their opponents. If you want a tango, they'll go with you. Ning just flies over the wall. That's craziness there, Betty. Like, just dives into 2 members and gets picked off.
And now Fongfu Buffalo pick up the Infernal Drake. Yes, CS advantages are being built up for Invictus Gaming in bot and mid, but the gold is in favor of Fongfu Buffalo.
And the Summoner's Rift is just against them. You know, early game, especially in the bottom lane, looking so dangerous. It's going to be a mountain next. The Snowball Dragon's coming across. This is what I'm talking about. This is, you know, a mixture of arrogance and cockiness coming together in the fold. And Ning, at this point, can do nothing. He's used everything to try and get in.
There is a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and we are seeing that line being crossed right now by many Invictus Gaming members.
Bone Skewer has channeled his charge. He's gone fishing for Baolan. Defensive flash, and there's the chain of corruption starting to spread. Teleport completes from the Shy as Pallet's in some trouble. He's going on a Ghost Water dive. LPL is in the bottom lane, and it's Big Koro that kills Ning. The Cocoon is at 1 as Big Koro is now taken down. The Shy's trying to turn this around. Somehow, Noel and Zeros have got some kills. Invictus Gaming continue to fight. They're caught between 2 towers. Bone Skewer goes out. That's a catch onto a rookie. The Shy's fighting 3. The Cocoon locks him down. And Fongfu Buffalo, they get another kill.
Vietnam erupts as Invictus Gaming are falling to Fongfu Buffalo. Oh my god, rookie! He's just basic. Will he get out?
No, he will not. The Unleashed Power comes out, and Noel misses every skill shot. Gets killed by a rookie, but maybe 10 minutes later than expected.
Xuhao might be next. Don't go in there.
All right, there's a volatile spiraling. Xuhao fancies a shot. Teleports now, being channeled.
Down.
That's Jackie Lab. There's Scatter the Week comes out. Here comes Big Koro. Now Big Koro and Xuhao looking for an additional kill. Zeros, he's now find them. That's a hammer down into Jackie Lab. Here comes Pallet. Where's the Bone Skewer? Needs to find a target. Baolan's ready for his life. I need another play-by-play as the Void Rush jumps out, dashes down. That's a kill to Xuhao. That's sinking the fangs onto Big Koro. And Pallet's going to escape with his life for now. What a passage of play.
Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. Finally, Invictus Gaming show up to the party, able to return some kills.
Oh my, 17 kills in just under 13 minutes. This is an LPL game if I have ever seen one.
The VCS game, Betty. This is what we're used to seeing from this region. It's why so many fans love them. They're just throwing everything.
Okay, let's take a look now. Pallet is going to be in some trouble as Ning makes his way down. Taking stock of the situation, it's an even gold game. 10 kills to 7 as Ning can choose to burrow onto Pallet here, but the tower plates are the current focus.
Yeah, and whilst we're getting hyped over the fights, notice where the fights are happening. Every time it's on Fongvu's side of the map because Invictus still pushing in, still generating these lane advantages.
And we got to note here that while it is very exciting, JackeyLove actually built up a massive advantage just now because the death of Big Koro meant that JackeyLove could pick up 2, maybe even 3 minion waves on the bot side and secure so many extra tower plates. So that CS advantage is not just about CS anymore. There is so much gold in the back pocket of IG's bot.
And this looked incredibly dangerous because the hook was on and 5 members started leading in. Once again, these champions, once they go forward, are not great at going back, but credit to the Buffalo. They read it. They also get their members down there.
Yeah, they certainly do. And look at how much time is bought with the stopwatch, the mobility of Pike, the fact that the repel was used, and then Big Koro, he's the first one to drop, but you're trying to dive this tower. This tower does so much damage, and now Zeros, he looks like he's in trouble.
Yeah, he is. Oh, he gets the shy! That was a 1v1 until Invictus came to bail him out. 3-3-1. And Zeros' Jace, I think he's waking up, Spawn.
Yeah, he certainly is. In saying that, still Rift Herald plus a kill for the bottom lane trade, rotation into the top lane of IG, and this is why they're the total package. They really do put it together on Summoner's Rift. The kill goes across, but still ahead of the play, in the right position now to try and siege out this top lane turret.
Oh, Pallet's very bold. If you look at the minimap, Suhail's only just about arriving, and there wasn't much support from Null, and keep looking, despite the action, despite the fact that Fongvu are opting into these plays, they've lost a tower, they've lost a bunch of plates, they're behind 1,000 gold again. And while Big Koro will even this one out, it is still Invictus that is taking the punches to the face, but hitting back much harder.
I mean, we got to remember that while we describe this as an LPL game, a VCS game, like, the competition in LPL is slightly different from that of VCS, and when IG get thrown into this environment, you have to argue they have a little more experience. And the fact that even after losing so many members in that bot dive, they still end up coming out on top.
In saying that, let's just celebrate for a moment because this is the one-on-one play. The Shy looks to take it in the creep wave. Very key dodge of the skill shot CC there means that Zeros comes away with the 1-for-1.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. The 1v2 outplay that so many praise the Shy for ends up going in favor of Zeros, the big carry top laner that many fans have been waiting for, who didn't really show up in the playing stage.
No, he did not. And this time round, picking up that solo kill in what is a favorable matchup, let's not, disregard that for a moment. It is a good sign. And you can see with Fongvu, they've grouped up around this Mountain Drake. They get the cleanse out of Rookie. And it looks like they have thrown down that Rift Herald. So this will just, again, allow additional time and pressure into the lanes to maybe unlock this Mountain Drake.
Yeah, however, they're keeping Zeros in the top lane, so potentially just looking for the smarter macro play. No teleport available means that he's just accruing himself some gold. And you can see the Shy misread that. Maybe thought he was going down river because deployed towards mid lane and will lose his turret.
One item spikes have been picked up here, Spawn. You can see Luden's Echoes, Blade of the Rune King, Stormrazor as well. The Rift Herald has now been dealt with, and the Dragon still stands, but PvP, they're going for the objectives. It's a tower that is going to be the focus. JackeyLove does get slept, but there's no further CC, and that's 3 quick towers picked up by Fongvu Buffalo.
And this is where the poke pump comes online. 1 item spikes are plenty. You can see projectiles flying across.
All right, Rookie gets caught up for now. Baolan's there to save, and biggest of Koros not going to follow in with the ultimate, but look at Ning. Flash available to him, and the Dragon has been started.
It's another fight, gentlemen. Are you ready? Warm up your voice, quick shot, because blood is about to be shed.
Let's take a look. Noel is going to find the Sleepy Trouble bubble onto Ning. That is the most crucial target. Pallet is going to look for a target to hit, will not find one yet.
Oh.
And surprising amounts of trepidation here from PvP.
Yeah, and maybe IG also, just looking and saying, can we fight them right now?
Yeah.
They're in a current stage of power, and if you remove nameplates, this is a team that now has 2 Drakes, even gold, against the current world champions.
Well, Zeros throws down the Ghost Blade. He may get caught out, though. He's decided to chase onto Rookie. Turns back into the cannon form. The Shock Blast will not find its target. Here comes Ning. Chilling Smite, flash for flash. Zeros is now trying to escape. The Void Rush will tag. I'm looking at the support. No one's around, but there's a 4-on-3 being set up in the mid lane. Can a fight start? PvP unable to initiate it.
So overzealous play there from Zeros. He thought that he had caught Rookie out, but Ning was lying in wait in the river to help support his mid laner should anything come to hurt him, and they're able to turn that around. So now Zeros now sitting at 4 deaths. The action has been intense. The action has been high-paced. You can see IG reclaim their 1,000 gold lead.
And this is the worry that continues to plague the Fongvu Buffalo lineup, is those individual mistakes, taking it one step potentially too far. You can see doesn't have anyone in the area to be able to back him up, and already Ning rotating in.
Yeah, I think you're highlighting the map here is a perfect point here, Spawn, because you notice that full priority is in favor of IG in the middle lane. And the thing is, for Ning, it's easy for him to follow. Even though he used his flash initially, he has the ultimate to then get over the wall, and that's enough CC and setup for Rookie to then come and pick up the kill. So a bit of a greedy play there from Zeros. He needs to pull this back if he wants to stand a chance of taking down IG.
I mean, Invictus still have 1,000 gold lead, despite all the drama and the chaos. We looked at those stats earlier. Both of these teams, in their games in their respective regions, are close to 1 kill a minute over the course of Spring Split, and we're bang on par for this game.
Yes, we are.
I would, however, like to point out that the 1,000 gold lead is on the Rek'Sai primarily, and that's not a champion that you would necessarily want to have the entirety of your gold lead on. Heading into a mid to late game, if this devolves into team fighting, Rek'Sai is not the most useful champion in that regard.
Can I ask you to suspend nameplates for a moment? I know it's hard. If you just look at the compositions, which we'll get to in a moment or two, the Sleepy Trouble Bubble that's going to find a target. Jackie Love is down! PvP have got two! But here comes Rookie. Unleashed Power is going to get dodged away from thanks to that stopwatch. It's a 5-on-3. Bone Skewer won't throw the target. The Shy's trying to turn it around. Look at that burst damage onto Rookie. Here comes Pallet. That's a depth from below. Gets the flash on a Rookie. Now Ning, he's going to go down. PvP have got 3 quick kills. The Shy and Rookie hold onto the tower for now.
You know what? Quick shot. I can easily take nameplates off for this game as the Shy gets slapped.
The Bone Skewer comes out. The Shy stays alive a few seconds longer. Turns it round in a 1-for-1 trade. But it's Fongvu Buffalo that will get the tower as well.
And you have to criticize Invictus for contesting these objectives, because every single time they do, it goes in Fongvu's favor.
Is that a Boris flag that we're seeing right now? Invictus Gaming, they're going in.
They are indeed. That's a defensive flash from Null. He's running for his life. Jackie Lab, I actually think got helped out by that Bone Skewer. He teleported in, finds himself a kill, and now IG are on the offensive.
So
the initial mistake came in from Invictus Gaming overextending in the middle lane. They got collapsed on by Fongvu Buffalo, and as you identified, Spawn, they then continued to go for the fight.
And this has devolved into a little bit of a scrappy tavern brawl, because you can see that resources are being used in ways that we're not normally used to. That fight was won by a flanking, Varus, teleport, and flash. Now, that is not the most convincing way to win a fight on an international stage, and I think that IG are really buying into this way too much for comfort.
And of course, Invictus Gaming, they are the defending world champion. They picked up the LPL title. This is their first showing at the mid-season invitational, and there was a storyline that we were debating and discussing backstage about whether or not Invictus Gaming would play to their opponent's level and style. And I think we're seeing a resounding yes right now.
I think exactly that is what we're seeing, which is why we really wanted to see Fongvu make these aggressive plays, because if you're going to catch Invictus Gaming off, it is to try and beat them at their own game. Don't be afraid of these players. Sure, Rookie and the Shy are good, but they are still human. They can make mistakes. They can be beaten. And as we are seeing in this game, they happen.
Well, as much as we like to pretend that it's not the case, they still have to play the champions with the same QWER as everyone else does. So when you get them into this situation, when you have a poke comp that has strong setup, and you are in a 5v2 scenario, they will win the fights.
So beautiful stuff here from the side of PvP. They notice that Invictus Gaming is split up. Even though the Shy has the teleport, the duo dies far too quickly, and IG, as you guys were talking about earlier, they just go for every single fight.
And they have no business contesting this. This is 2 summoner spells used on their mid laner. They throw their jungler in there as well. If that's not enough, at this stage, they're still looking to pressure out the turret against what is primarily a poke comp that sets up sieges so nicely. This isn't perfect execution. Fongvu in trouble.
Yes, they are. Null's going to get not taken out. He survives. I thought the piercing arrow would kill him. Pallet and Suhao trying to escape. Here comes Ning, once again looking for a target. Chain of Corruption will take down Null, and Ning with the Furious Bite. Not going to be enough just yet. 2 quick kills to IG.
So they set up the map well. This time they bring the numbers to the area first. Zeros still splitting in the bottom lane. They'll start up Baron.
All right, Baron is going to be focused. Teleport is going to be channeled here from Zeros. Smite is available. No, it's on cooldown for Suhao. Zeros like shooting fish in a barrel. Accelerated shock blast goes in. That's a lot of damage inside the pit. There's the Bastion with the hammer. Zeros gets sneaked. There's no flat Smites available. That's another onto Baron. The Baron is picked up by Suhao. Fongvu Buffalo have survived and stopped the Baron.
But it's still an ace for IG. They walk away with 2 members alive, but no Baron in their pocket.
What is this game?
35 kills in 23 minutes. The VCS representatives are going blow for blow with the world champion.
So it starts off with Rookie landing a good stun onto Null. And with that chunk of damage done, and with 5 members, Invictus Gaming, though they can commit to this, they find the initial pick, they turn it into another one, and now they have 5 members going up against the Baron. The problem is they have no tank that can soak up most of this damage. You can see they get lower and lower, and the poke is coming out from Big Koro, from Zeros, and then Zeros just commits to killing the jungler.
Yeah, and the brave play here is to flash the wall in hammer stance. Does so much damage. The steal, the icing on the cake for this lineup, looked like Baron was all but forgotten at 113 health.
Unbelievable. As we come out of it, it is 1,000 gold separating these teams, this time in favor of PvB. The Mountain and Infernal Drake sits in their favor. And look, the maximum gold difference over the course of the game has been 2,500 gold, and it has swung back and forth. Pallets going fishing. I'm waiting for the skewer to charge up. There is a Drake going to be in the pit. It is available for one of these teams to fight over. And at the moment, there's a part of me that thinks PvB could do this.
And look, whilst not the most valuable Drake in League of Legends in the air, probably will be the one that starts off another brawl.
Notice how, right now, PvB don't actually want to start the fight. They're keeping IG at arm's length and just throwing their poke out. This is how they want to play this composition. Going for the straight 5v5 from the beginning could end disastrously for them.
And I like this decision. Try and force IG away from the mid lane wave. This is the area of the map where you can catch them with the trouble bubble. In saying that, IG send Rookie back towards there, regains priority, and forces Fongvu out.
So the poke slowly continuing to come out from this fog of war. PvB are in control of the top side, but IG have priority over the mid wave, which means that you gain a lot more control, allows you to move into the enemy jungle and start setting up vision.
Oh, I'm so tense. The observers are doing such a good job of highlighting Invictus Gaming's, a vision and the decisions that they're playing with. You can see the skill shots flying out through Fog of War. Jackie Love holds on to that chain of corruption as Zeros is now pushing the top lane. And for the time being, Invictus Gaming, they have thwarted all remaining Baron buffs. They put damage down thanks to the Shy's hijacked Jace form, and now they're waiting for another engage.
But while all this darkness was happening and this dance was happening, Zeros actually ran towards the top lane to secure the tower. Unfortunately, Invictus Gaming weren't prepared for this, don't have a wave, which means they can't trade objectives. So PvB actually come out on top, but no teleport on Zeros right now, so IG can look to commit.
Oh, look at that damage from the Paddle Star. Rookie is going to be able to walk away for now. Zeros has not left the top lane. He is sticking around. Black Cleaver, Ghostblade, more of Malmortius into Ludens and Hourglass. So if he wanted to pick a fight with the Shy, there is a small item discrepancy, but Ning is waiting in the wings in the top quadrant.
And Pallet starting to frustrate the IG lineup time and time again, looking for the hook. Now IG, they go back to a little bit more of their style. Let's attack the side lane. Let's try and wrestle some control back. But you can just see that without the Rek'Sai Tremor Sense there, it is so hard to track the Pyke around these little skirmishes.
So let's have a quick stock of the items, quick shot, because so much has actually been bought in the last few minutes, and we're only 27 minutes into the game. We're already at things like third items for some players.
And what items do you like, Vedius? Because, of course, Phantom Dancer picked up by Big Koro, as well as the Rage Blade. You've got Morella Nomicon, Luden's Echo there for Null. He's also sitting on the stopwatch. That could be crucial in what has been an insanely chaotic series of fights. But Jackie Love sitting on 3.5 with that recurve bow after Mercurial Scimitar, Blade of the Ring King, and Rage Blade.
And I could be wrong, but the only other item that does build out of recurve bow is going to be potentially Wit's End here, something that I like to see. Pallet might be caught out.
All right, there's the engage onto Pallet. He's going to look for the stun on the Shy. Not going to find it just yet. Zeros puts the hammer down. There is Suhao. He's going to use that stopwatch for now. A lot of damage on the back end. The Shy is on a killing spree. He's taken out Zeros. That's the team fight, the 5v5 that PvP don't really want.
Exactly that. Quick shot. Ooh, we see another engage onto North. Flash even being burned from the side of the Shy. But this time, the big powerhouse of Zeros, he has been taken off the map. IG have all 5 members alive and a lot of ultis still actually available. Rookie and Ning, big damaging abilities that if they land that crucial CC, could swing the fight even further in favor of IG.
All right, Baolan throws up that Unbreakable. He blocks some of the damage. Will get put to sleep in a moment. Pallet gets the Bone Skewer. He pulls the Shy all the way backwards underneath the tower. Pallet set that one up. Now Rookie is chasing forward, looking for the Unleashed power. Claims will buy some time for him. Baolan gets caught out once again by the Bone Skewer, and Noel stays alive thanks to that stopwatch. Ning, Void rushes out, catches a target. It's a 1-for-1 trade. Death from below comes down, and that's a repel up to dodge the Scatter the Weak. Cocoon onto Baolan, the shield is up. Rookie's just stepping forward, but his ultimate's already been used. And Big Koro does not fancy a shot, but here comes Zeros. He needs to get that accelerated shock blast down. He needs to find a target, and it's not going to land at the Rookie. That's a flash forward. The hammer's dodged away from, and Rookie kills Zeros into the fountain once again.
And top lane is just taking turns in trading their lives into the rest of the team. Baolan is crucial in these team fights. His positioning on Braum in the last 2 skirmishes have clinched them for Invictus. These coin flip players for IG and Baolan and Ning starting to really show their worth.
But also props to Rookie there. That was a fantastic outplay, saving his summoner spells for the last second, avoiding so much damage. This is where the fight actually kicks off. I don't know if the Shy planned to land the stun, but it ends up working out in their favor as Noel and the rest of PvP are being zoned away from Zeros as they IG effectively turn this into a 4 versus 1. They then set up the siege, but here we see Shy making that crucial overstep where he tries to trade onto a pallet, but then he gets dragged underneath the tower and further chaos just continues to ensue.
Yeah, it certainly does, and you thought that Rookie had gone too far, but Baolan expends his summoner spell, had already shepherded 4 members away. No, you can't flash away from Rek'Sai. The interaction doesn't work that way anymore. And we're just going to go into another bit of a tussle.
Yeah, but look at the minimap. Look at the minimap. Zeros is teleporting towards the inhibitor. If PvB can keep them under wraps, this is a potential inhib. Now PvB, they're fighting on 2 fronts. Noel's making his way from the east. He's going to throw those power stars into the pit. Sleepy Trouble Bubble goes in. That's already a kill onto Rookie. Now the Baron's going low. The Shy's picked a fight with Big Koro. Death from below comes up. Big Koro might be winning the fight. Inhibitor is down. It is Baron secured by Invictus Gaming. But Zeros is on the Nexus turret. The longer this fight goes, the more damage Zeros can do. That's another kill, this time onto Su Hao. Nexus turret number 2 is being focused down. Feng Vu Buffalo, they're pushing onto the Nexus. The turret falls, and now there's a retreat. Baolan and Ning, they've made it back in time. Let's look at the minimap. Noel may be able to come up. Void Rush comes out. Zeros will get taken down by the tower. And with the Baron, this is an advantage to IG, but their base is exposed.
Oh, that was a close series of events. Invictus Gaming secure the Baron, but their Nexus is exposed. This is still an insanely close game. The gold is dead even. There have been 45 kills in a 31-minute game. Who could have expected Feng Vu Buffalo to push the world champions this far?
And the choice to race here by the Buffalo is so brave, but it fits the comp. They've got so much poke. You can see the kill already picked up. Big Koro looking for the outplays on the current best top laner in the world is able to survive for so long, and it looked like Feng Vu nearly had this.
And huge props to Jackie Love there, because unfortunately for Su Hao, he did not have his flash available. The only way he gets in is with the repel or just walking into there. But an ultimate from Jackie Love came out at just the right moment to stop him from getting in range to allow Ning to secure it. So big props to the AD carry for IG for helping his team secure the Baron.
Feng Vu Buffalo have secured more than double the amount of towers they took from Team Liquid in an entire best of 5. They've got an exposed Nexus against Invictus Gaming. This is the VCS stepping up and dragging Invictus Gaming down to their level and beating them with experience right now. If there's one thing you have to take away, nothing goes as planned in group stages anymore, and PvB are now going to have to fend off this Baron threat if they want to look for the win.
Look in the top lane. You've got to see that there is an Elise and a Jace looking for the back door. They just want to try and sneak their way in, and if they can just secure this Nexus, then they can win the game, which is forcing IG to be, like, they're in 2 parts right now. They can't decide what the best decision is.
And they are splitting. You can see already the Shy heads back into that top lane, trying to stop this push. Ning's coming also.
Oh, what more can happen? Ning has joined the fray. 2v2 jungle top. How the game started, maybe how the game ends. The mid lane is under pressure as Invictus Gaming are pushing into the tower. Void Rush comes out from Ning. Ning will be able to get the stopwatch from Zuhao, or Hourglass rather, but the base still stands, and what goes up must come down. Ning is on a killing spree. There's a 45-second death timer.
Yeah, desperation creeping into Fongvu's matchup. They have already had their base broken. IG looking to push in.
All right, take a look what damage can happen. Zeros is now in a 1v2, but remember, while this fight is going on, the base defense stands. The inhibitor has fallen, though, in that 3v3. Ning will pick up the kill. Baron-empowered minions now pushing into the base. Big Cora's got the GA, and he needs to have a team game-saving moment. Pallet's not going to be able to find a target as Null trying to throw out those paddle stars, but Pallet gets blown up where he stands. Now, Wit's End was completed by Jackie Love, and he's obliterating the objectives. GA has popped. Jackie Love is single-handedly destroying Fongvu Buffalo. He picks himself up the triple kill. He turns his attention to the Nexus turrets, and I started to believe, but it was a bridge too far. Invictus Gaming will take down Fongvu Buffalo.
And they do it through the three most unlikely positions. Baolan, Ning, and Jackie Love. Very nice performances in what was a scrappy game. And you feel like the solo lane's buying into it. Maybe a little bit too much for comfort.
I mean, I have to give so much props to Jackie, though, because I feel like in the chaos, he was the most consistent performer throughout the entire game. His positioning was good. His flank TPs, swinging fights back in the favor of Invictus Gaming. He really stepped up for the team when they needed him to. And unfortunately for Fongvu, I felt like that in the final moments, they just couldn't quite decide how they wanted to try and end the game. And that is when Invictus Gaming, they relied on their individual mechanics and decision-making to then swing it back in their favor in the final moment.
But with the substitute coming in a game that they said they did not expect to win, they took the current world champions to the very edge and were almost peering into an Exodus destruction there for a brief moment.
If you are SK Telecom, Team Liquid, or the Flash Wolves, fear Fongvu Buffalo style. Just so you know, that was the third highest kills in any MSI game ever.
As a G2 fan, I'm terrified of this team!
Listen, to break down this display of peak League of Legends, I sent it over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Quick Shot. This is my peak League of Legends. 50 kills in 33 minutes game time.
Can we erase that? Can we take that? Can we hide it?
That was just an absolutely insane game from start to finish. The fight and fire out of the PvB squad here coming out on stage for their first game in the MSI group stage against the defending world champions.
And now you're leaving the floor to us to break it down. But I'm going to just start with an analogy. This game really felt like Invictus Gaming with a kid in class who didn't do their homework, and then the teacher's like asking them for answers, and like, you know, they're trying to fill in the blanks here with their gameplay, because for sure they looked past the Buffaloes here in this game and just thought they could play their style, which we know is fast and aggressive, and then it would fit in because their players were better. And we got a hell of a ride trying to work out where that all ended. But I think the IG victory, to me at least, seemed inevitable, but the manner to get there was, oh boy.
The strategy that they went for is something that a lot of LPL teams actually failed to go for, which is like legitimately focus on the top side of the map. Take away the Jace, go hard on towards like an Elise dive composition towards top side and challenge the 2v2, because when that's happened versus IG, they have actually failed a few times.
But normally if you try and do that and then you do what we just saw in the replay, waste everything and you die, it should go horribly wrong. But then Ning is like, nah, listen, I can also do something horrible on top side. He didn't even get the knockup or anything. He gives a bunch of kills back. And I actually think PvP, they got surprised that IG were almost crazier than they were in how many plays they could force.
Stare down.
It wasn't the standard of a team who wants to play slower, who's forced to play fast. It was just two teams who were like, let's just fight everything.
That has been the weakness of IG in the past, a weakness where they pick up every fight. Earlier on in the regular season, when they've gone up against the Vici Gaming, LGD that they've lost to, they've been a team that says, oh, you're playing aggressively. Even if it's not our composition style, we'll match you just because of it's a pride thing.
And we had the play there where it was like an IG 5-man gank, bot side, into an invade to the enemy jungle, into respawn from both teams coming in to kill. And of course, you know, my LCK analyst brain is like going off in the back, what are we fighting for? What are we fighting for? And we were fighting for pride, guys. We were fighting for a lot of pride, and it went, and it was up and down. It was topsy-turvy.
Bloodshed.
It was something amazing.
So I've had the pleasure, all split, of listening now to team comms, you know, during games, and you kind of get a feeling for how pro teams are communicating and what they're looking for when they're setting up plays and so on, and you know, their slow setups, fast setups. I really want to listen to comms in these kind of games. Because I imagine there's 10 people actually just screaming into the mic.
I could kill him. I could kill him. I could kill him.
Constant. And there's never anyone saying, hang on, what's the next play we should do? It's just that we're already fighting, dude. Get over it.
There is no setup here. Just get in and fight. And to be fair, I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of screaming in comms. Let's talk about the audience there, the hometown crowd. I mean, watching their underdogs in Fengvu Buffalo challenge the #1 team in the world at this point. You know, I mean, what a way to start this tournament off, even in the loss, right? To have gone toe-to-toe with IG like that.
Legitimately, you are riding off adrenaline, especially at that point in the game. Inhibitors open up, the crowd sees the Jace teleporting into it, and so at that point, the game could end at any point. I had to book it to the desk. The moment it happened, I was like, oh, okay, no, I'm literally going to be late to my own dang segment.
Another play that called for a massive cheer from the crowd was the Baron defense. The first Baron defense out of Fengvu Buffalo in a 3v5. Oh. Man, they come up big.
Yeah, and they're all hiding behind the Baron, so they take so much damage. 3 members coming in, obviously from PvP, to actually just start killing people left and right. No one knows at this point if you're supposed to finish the Baron or fight. So you just end up hitting whatever is right next to you. And in this case, it ended up being obviously IG members who stayed alive, but no Baron for them. It went over to PvP, sadly. I think Pyke respawned like a second too late.
Yeah. The most sane human being on Invictus Gaming that entire game was Jackie Love.
I'd say rookie.
Rookie?
So it's at least
that's fair. Look, that's true. That's true. He takes some of it. I think Jackie Love, of course, in that replay, being able to clean up so the Baron wasn't completely picked up by the enemy team. And on top of that, every time the